All right, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much to all of you guys who are joining us live on YouTube and live through our webinar today. I am so excited to have you join us. My name is Michelle Edwards. I own Trailhead Accounting Solutions. I'm a CPA, and I'm super excited to walk you through today about how to manage cash flow in your business and also kind of add some twist to it of what's going on in our world today with this coronavirus stuff and how that's affecting so many of our small businesses. So if you hold tight, we are going to start right at 11. So we're just going to wait for a couple more people to show up and watch for people to join us live here on YouTube. Welcome, welcome. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited how many people are joining us today. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us. I'm super excited to share the knowledge with you guys and talk to you guys about managing cash flow in your business, especially during these crazy times with this crazy coronavirus going on. We will get started here in about 30 seconds. Just wait for the last couple of people to show up and get signed in. It is just 11 o'clock now, so we will be getting started here in just a minute. All right, well, let's get started because I don't want to take too much of your time and I want to make sure that we finish this on time. So my goal is to be done by noon, take about an hour. Sometimes I go through this stuff quicker. So if we can get done quicker, the more the merrier, right? So we do have a chat panel off to the side. If you have questions as we go through it, go ahead and post your questions. At the very end, I'll go through and review any questions that came in and answer those the best that I can at the end. But since it's just me on here, I didn't bring a team to manage the chat panel. Kind of just bear with me. I'll try if I can answer them going through. If I see them come in, I will jump over and handle those. But otherwise, I'll go through them all at the end. So thank you again so much for joining us. My name is Michelle Edwards. I'm a CPA and I'm owner of Trailhead Accounting Solutions. And we help businesses with their day-to-day accounting operations. So a lot of bookkeeping, and then we jump into that controller slash CFO role on some of our larger clients who need help with kind of managing the cash flow of their business and the bigger parts of, helping them understand those financials and help them make good decisions with their financials. So excited to have you guys join us today. We are presenting live on the webinar and we are also live on YouTube, which is super exciting. So testing out all this new technology today, and I'm so honored to have all of you guys joining us today. So thank you for taking time out of your schedule. So I'm going to jump over. I'm going to kind of switch back and forth, I guess, between slides and video. And then, yeah, we will dive in. So, oh my gosh, the world right now is just unprecedented times with this coronavirus, governments shutting businesses down, cities getting shut down on lockdown, states getting shut down on stay-at-home orders, and how it's affecting all of our small businesses. No matter how any of us have planned for some kind of crazy event, I don't think any of us were ever prepared for something like this to happen. So my hearts go out to all of you business owners out there who are struggling and scared and trying to figure this out, because it truly is unprecedented times. Um, I don't want to make light of the situation, but I'm a pretty confident person and I know that we're all going to get through this. And it's just going to make us stronger on the flip side, and we're going to learn a lot. We're going to learn a lot about ourselves, a lot about our businesses, and if nothing else, it's a great way to force a lot of business owners to kind of learn some financial literacy in their business. Because, let's face it, a lot of business owners didn't go into business to do the number side of their business. And I get that. So, all right. So let's dive in. I'm going to switch over and see if I can switch it to show the screen cat or the kind of slides that I've prepared for you guys. So let me jump that over. Hopefully you guys can see the slideshow. All right, so managing cash during the coronavirus pandemic. So we're going to walk through a lot of this is stuff that I work with our clients that are on our um, kind of our controller level services. So I'm going to walk you through the process that I walk my clients through. This is a really great actionable steps that you can take in your business this week to really help you kind of get a grasp on what's going on cash wise in your business. So, first thing is first, if you are like most business owners I've been talking to, and my business included, our revenues have dropped substantially, right? Businesses are nervous because they don't know what to expect. Businesses are, being shut down. And so the income that you're used to coming in is going away really quick. And hopefully it'll start coming back here in a couple months. But to get us through some time, it's really important to get a good handle on the expenses that your business incurs every month. So, the first step that I want you to take is I want you to log on to your online banking, and I need you to download the last 3 to 6 months of your bank and credit card statements. Now, I know, don't roll your eyes at me, this is going to be a tedious task. However, you're going to gain a lot of insight and really good information about your business by going through this process. So we're going to download and we're going to print. If you'd like to do it on the computer, that's great too. You can totally do this through Adobe Acrobat. I kind of like having paper so I can kind of flip through it. So you're going to go through and you're going to gather the last 3 to 6 months of bank and credit card statements. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to find 2 different color highlighters. My personal favorites are green. Green kind of means good or go, and yellow is warning or stop. Okay, so you're going to find those. And then, if this is tedious, you don't love going through your numbers, definitely grab yourself a beer or go pour yourself a glass of wine. It'll make this little experiment and process a little bit more fun for you. All right, so now you're going to go through each of the bank and credit card statements, looking at each line item of expense that runs through there. And you're going to highlight anything that is necessary for keeping your business running green. And anything that is just kind of a fun expense, is a subscription that, it's nice to have, but is not necessary for keeping your doors open. Some of us just have frivolous expenses. Anything that's not necessary for keeping the doors of your business open, you're going to highlight those yellow. So you're going to go through every single expense on those bank statements and on those credit card statements and highlight either green or yellow. So, for an example, for my business, we do bookkeeping, and a lot of our clients are on QuickBooks Online. So, we pay the QuickBooks Online subscription for some of our clients. So those would be green expenses. Every time I see a charge come through from Intuit, I'm going to highlight those green because they're necessary for my business, right? I can't run my business. I can't do the bookkeeping if we cancel these subscriptions. My clients will be pretty mad and will freak out at me. So that would be a green expense for me. I have a client who we went through this exercise, and she likes to have fresh flowers in her office. And she orders fresh flowers from a local florist every week. So she has these beautiful bouquets, and they're beautiful. But that is not a necessary business expense, right? It's not generating revenue for you. Your clients aren't going to be affected if you don't have fresh flowers in your office. So, when times like this, especially when you really need to scale back your expenses, that would be something that we would highlight yellow. And, as things turn around, if she wants to add that back, if she's profitable again, by all means, please add these back. But for right now, while we're all trying to save money, cut back on expenses, those are the things that need to go. This isn't fun, and I get that. And it's hard to go through and really kind of make those hard decisions on your business of what's necessary and what's not necessary. But this is super important to help reduce the cash outflow that's just going out of your business every month. Okay, so we're going to go through just a quick recap. All of your bank and credit card statements, and you're going to highlight any expense that is necessary for keeping your business running green, and anything that is just a nice expense to have but is not necessary for keeping your business running, yellow. The purpose to doing 3 to 6 months is it's going to capture a lot of those quarterly expenses. 6 months will also capture a lot, will help capture some of those annual expenses like insurance, or some software subscriptions are only twice a month charges. So that kind of helps you gather a whole bunch of information about your business. All right, so then the next step, after you've gone through that exercise and highlighting all of your bank and credit card statements, you need to go back through line by line to all the ones that you highlighted yellow. The ones that you highlighted yellow, or the non-necessary expenses, if you used a different color, you need to cancel those expenses. So you're going to sign in, you're going to cancel these subscriptions, you're going to call your florist and cancel that nice flower delivery service. Um, everything else that you found in there. If there's, you like to eat out, maybe you're going to, cut back on eating out some. So all of those non-necessary business expenses, you need to call and cancel those and stop that kind of bleeding out of your business. So then after you do that, now you're going to tackle all your green expenses. So we're going to look back and we're going to make a list of all the green expenses. So get another piece of paper and a pen, and you're going to write down, for the month of January, here are the green expenses that I had. For the month of February, here are the green expenses that I had. For the month of March, write down all of the expenses that you highlighted in green. This is going to show you what you pay every single month in your business that is necessary. Now, this can be an eye-opening experience for some business owners because a lot of people aren't really paying attention to this and don't really know what it costs to keep your business open. So, you might be completely surprised of, wow, I had no idea that my business costs this much to keep open. Or on the flip side, you might be like, oh, that's manageable. We can do this. So you're going to have a different experience depending on who you are and, how you're used to, looking at your numbers and how familiar you are with your business numbers. So I'm going to kind of throw this in here as you go through this exercise. Advertising is one of those expenses that gets cut really quick when cash is thin. And I want you to kind of think about your advertising. If you're tracking where your leads come from, this makes it easier to do because you'll know where your leads come from. If they all come from, your online advertising, then yes, by all means, you can cancel any publications that you're advertising in. If you're not tracking this, you don't want to cancel all of your advertising because you do need to have your face out there in the market. And I'd actually say the opposite. When times are slow and the market is struggling, this usually is the best time to advertise because all the other businesses around you are cutting their advertising budget. So you have less competition out there advertising, and usually you can find some really great deals. Those that advertise on Facebook, I've heard the Facebook ad rates are phenomenal right now. Nobody's seen them this low. So something to think about as you're looking at those advertising dollars. There's definitely areas that probably you can cut on advertising, but don't completely cut out advertising and not get any leads coming in, because then that's kind of counterproductive. All right. So you've got that list. We're going to write down what it costs to keep your doors open every month. So we're going to have that number. We're going to put it to the side for just a minute, but we're going to need this number here in just a minute. Okay. Sorry, grabbing a sip of water real quick. All right. So I get a question all the time when we go through this. What if we have QuickBooks? Can we do this exercise through QuickBooks? I don't want to look at bank statements. So here's my answer to this. If you have a bookkeeper and a bookkeeping service, I still recommend that you go through the bank statements. A lot of business owners find it a lot easier to look through their bank statements and do this exercise. If you have QuickBooks and it's updated and you're comfortable in QuickBooks, by all means, you can do this. So you're going to want to pull up a profit and loss for the last 3 months, the last 6 months. And then you need to click on each of those expense line items to get the drill down behind what that's expense. Don't shortcut it and go, oh yeah, subscriptions, we need all of that. I'm not, going to drill into that because you're missing out on the essential of what we're trying to do is really find each and every single one of those individual transactions that you need to cut. So if you're going to do this, make sure you drill down to see what makes up, your advertising, what makes up that subscriptions, what makes up your software expense, what makes up office expenses, and look at each of those line items to look for those ones that you can cancel and get rid of out of your business. The other thing, if you use QuickBooks, don't forget that a lot of these costs are hidden over on your balance sheet. And I don't want to say hidden. If you understand how your financials work, you understand that they're over there. A lot of business owners don't understand the balance sheet, and to them, these numbers are hidden. So, some examples of costs that are kind of hidden on your balance sheet would be car loans. If you have credit card debt, if you have lines of credit, if you're taking shareholder distributions or owner draws, changes in inventory. If you're purchasing inventory, that doesn't show up on your profit and loss until you sell that inventory. So these are kind of these hidden cash outlays that you don't think of. So if you are going to use QuickBooks, do this. But I highly recommend that you just kind of forget QuickBooks for a little bit and do this through your bank and credit card statements. I think it's going to be a lot easier for you. All right. So now that we know how much it costs to run our business every month, we are going to learn how to calculate your burn rate. I'm hoping that if you have been following us for any amount of time, that you know that we are big proponents of having an emergency fund in your business. This is why you have an emergency fund. So when times like this happen, that you have a little bit of cash on hand to fall back on to help you wade through the storm. Um, every business is going to look different. Some of you are going to have an emergency fund and some of you are not going to have an emergency fund. So you're going to look and see how much is in your emergency fund. If it's not in your emergency fund, some business owners just keep excess cash in their checking account. How much money is in your checking account? You're going to take that amount and you're going to divide it by the monthly cost to keep your doors open. So that was the number that we just calculated, right? By looking at each month through our bank statements, we know how much it costs to keep our doors open. Then you're going to, the number you get from that, so taking your emergency fund or cash on hand, divide that by the monthly cost to keep your doors open tells you your burn rate. Your burn rate tells you how many months that your business can survive without any sales. So the cash you have on hand, how many months can you survive? Now, this can be a very eye-opening experience for business owners. Some already know that they don't have cash on hand and know that they're struggling right now. Other business owners think, oh yeah, we have an emergency fund. We're going to be okay. But they calculate this and they're like, oh, we only have 1 or 2 months saved up. So this number really allows you to make really good, hard decisions about your business, right? The whole point of this is to empower you with knowledge so that you can make good, educated decisions on your business and not act out of fear. You can act out of knowledge and what your business needs. All right, so now that we know how many months we can survive without any sales, we need to dive over and we need to start looking at kind of evaluating the future income. What kind of income are we expecting to generate in our business over the next few months? So, a good way to do this is if you are working in QuickBooks, you do have QuickBooks updated. You can pull a profit and loss report for the last year, for the last couple years, and you can see, look for trends. And you probably know this is a gut feeling in your business anyway. Some of us are going to have pretty standard, revenue every month to month. Other businesses are, more dependent on the calendar year. You might have a busy season where, from this month to this month, our sales go up. You might notice if you work with larger companies, I've seen this. If you look with larger companies, you only get new clients in the first quarter when people have new budgets and money to spend. And then it kind of slowly tapers off the rest of the year. So look at your business. Every business is different. Or if you're doing projects or construction, is there a pattern to when you're bringing on new projects, new customers? And maybe there's not. Maybe it's totally just random. Do people buy and build homes, starting in the summertime when the weather's nice? They don't think about it in the winter when it's snowing out. So just things to think about. Then the second thing you want to think about is how has this COVID-19 affected your sales? Are you looking at, reduced sales for 1, 2, 3 months while we're all stuck in our homes and can't go outside? Or, are your customers, um, all going out of business and you're not going to have any customers when we get through this? Or are you in an industry that's going to get completely wiped out by this? Like, you kind of have to step back and think about the picture as a whole. This COVID-19 is completely changing the world around us. It's going to completely change people's spending habits, um, and what they value in the future. People that used to love to go out, might cut back. People are learning how to cook at home. Maybe they're learning how to make their favorite recipes and they don't need to go to the restaurant to, get those. Um, maybe they have found new ways to entertain themselves. Maybe they love being outside. I know in our neighborhood, there's so many people out walking around every day that are never outside walking around. And these people might be gaining a new appreciation for outdoor activities and might start investing in that versus something else. So I would challenge you to kind of step back and think, how is this affecting our business? People are starting to move online and being way more comfortable online. Definitely look at, expanding your business to getting online. And some of this stuff is stuff we'll talk about on Friday's call. But definitely, I want you to think about it and don't be scared about it. I'm not trying to put it out there to create fear. I want to put it out there to create empowerment for you, give you stuff to think about, give you stuff to plan for, give you stuff to, how can you pivot your business to stay current, to meet the current needs of your customers, and to keep making money. And then the last part to this is, are you generating enough income month to month to cover these monthly expenses? So this dives us over to my little flow chart. And no, I'm not a graphic designer by nature, so you can tell that by my not so great flow chart, but I think it'll help you and you'll kind of get the message as we go through it. All right, so we're going to start at the top. Is your monthly income greater than your monthly expenses? Yes. So if it's yes, you're going to follow through on the left side. And congratulations, your company is in good financial shape. So if your monthly income is greater than your monthly expenses, some things I would recommend that you do for your business is continue to fund your emergency fund. You're in a good position, keep saving because you don't know what's coming down the pipeline. Continue to keep those expenses down. If you think you can reduce those expenses, do so. The higher you can build your profit margin, the better your cash flow is. It gets you completely out of that cash flow headache of not having cash and not being able to pay your bills. Um, and it puts more money in the business owner's pocket at the end of the day. And then the last thing, to think about is, we kind of touched base on this earlier, is can you increase your advertising? Everybody out there is completely canceling their advertising and slowing it down. This is the best time to get your name out there because you don't have the competition. So if you can afford it, definitely increase your advertising. Now, on the other side of this, if your monthly income is less than your monthly expenses, then you're feeling it, right? You've got cash flow crisis happening, your cash is tight, business is not going so well. You are probably up at night wondering how we're going to get through this. So, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go back to step 1 with all those bank statements that you printed out and highlighted, and look through all those ones that you highlighted green. I need you to think long and hard about every single expense on that report. The ones that you marked as necessary, are they truly necessary? This is hard for business owners. These are some really difficult decisions to make, and I get that. But if you're going to pull yourself through this, if you're going to run a profitable business, you have to make those hard decisions. You have to cut some of those expenses out until you can at least break even where your monthly income equals your monthly expenses. Breaking even is still a dangerous place to play, because if you have those one-off expenses that come through, it kicks you back into a cash flow crisis mode. Breaking even is better than just bleeding out money because your monthly expenses are in excess of your monthly income. Keep going through this process until your monthly expenses are cut to be below your monthly income. And yes, it sucks. I get it. It's not a fun thing to do. But if you're going to run a profitable business, if you're going to pull your business through this, this is what you have to do. You have to make these hard decisions. I'm really sorry, but you do. All right. So then let's jump over to just kind of changing our thoughts. So that is, kind of in a nutshell, how you're going to manage that cash flow, how you're going to get through this, what you're going to do. Some other tips that you can do: if your business has receivables, stay on top of those receivables. You need to be looking at your accounts receivable or your AR aging report on a weekly basis. If you have a bookkeeper, have them send this to you on a weekly basis, or log into QuickBooks and get this on a weekly basis. You need to stay on top of this. You want to be reaching out to your customers who have open balances with you. Depending on the size of your business, depending on the customers you work with, if you are a larger business or you work with bigger companies, I would be sending these statements on a weekly basis. Get in those weekly check runs. If you work with smaller customers, I'd be sending these statements twice a month. Keep it fresh on their mind that they owe you money. And I get that some people can't pay, and it's going to be hard to collect from some of these, but I do know that the squeaky wheel gets paid. And if you're the one that is bothering them, and not, I don't want to say bothering, but just reaching out and asking for payment, business owners hate that. You're going to get paid first over the quiet business owners who aren't reaching out and asking for money. Um, and it gets exponentially harder to collect the longer that you go that these open invoices have been out there. Customers forget that like warm, fuzzy feeling that they got when they got your product or service. They now have, 2, 3, 4 months of bills piled up that need to get paid. So stay on top of your receivables. Don't be afraid to reach out, and you can be really nice about it. You can just, a lot of my receivable emails that I send out, and when I call people, it's just, hey, I just want to make sure you didn't forget about this. I want to make sure that you received our invoice. This is the amount due on our account. Thank you so much. We appreciate your business. So that is a good way to do it. I have a client who works with larger customers, and they do rather large billings for their clients. And they are really staying on top of this. And one thing that they have found that's working for them is they set a firm policy of, after their clients reach a balance of $20,000, they don't do more work. And they reach out, and all the partners over at the firm will reach out to their clients and say, hey, your balance is, $20,000. Our firm policy is we need to stop work until we get paid. That's not a fun way to handle this, but it's an effective way to get paid from your customers. So stay on top of those receivables. It brings cash in. Okay, the other flip side to kind of help you through this is work with your vendors. Different vendors offer different programs to help you. And through this coronavirus, we're all in this together. So some of us are more willing to work with others, if they have the flexibility and they're able to, and want to keep these customers on hand for when we get through this. So, ask your customers, do you have early payment discounts? If you have the cash available and can pay early, take advantage of those early payment discounts. Work with your vendors to line up your payables to be due about the same time when your customers pay. So if you know that your customers typically pay in 45 days, work with your vendors and ask for 45 to 60-day payment terms. That way you can get paid from your customers, then turn around and pay your vendors. Rather than a lot of business owners I see, their bills are due in 30 days, but the customers don't pay in 45 days. So they're laying out the cash before they even get paid from their customer, and that wrecks your cash flow. So see if your, vendors are willing to work with you on this to come up with a better system so that you can pay them when you get paid from your customers. If you're doing, inventory type stuff, or you're buying products, ask for, bulk ordering discounts if you can afford that. And on the flip side, if you have good cash flow, pay your vendors early and build that really good credibility with your vendors. I have a client that does that, and she's got a really great relationship with her vendors. So when times like this happen, her vendors know that she's good for the money and they are willing to work with her. So just some tips to kind of think about. I hope it kind of helps you. So let's dive back over to a cash flow forecast. So the stuff that we had talked about originally are really great ways to give you quick results on what's going on with your cash. If you want to plan it out, then we can dive over and put together a forecast. So I'm going to switch over here to our cash forecast. So this is something I've put together. I can share, I don't know how to do this in the meeting. I will share the link to this probably at the end of the meeting. I'll put it in the chat, and then I can email everybody that signed up for our call today. If you are watching on YouTube, I will put a link down in the comment section below, in the notes section below, of a place where you can access this cash flow forecast. So I'm going to kind of walk you through this. We're going to start, I have it starting with April, since today is the first day of April. So we need to look back into QuickBooks and figure out what our ending balance was for the bank account on March 31st. So let's say we had $40,000 of cash on hand in the bank on March 31st. So then we're going to look back through what we did. We had talked about, what do we expect coming in from our customers? What do we expect coming in revenues? So we're going to fill this out for May through July. So let's say, customer A, we expect them to pay, $10,000 in April, $8,000 in May, and then their project is wrapping up, so only $2,000 in June and nothing in July. Customer B is a prospect customer. So we don't expect anything for the next 2 months. And I'm going to say we don't really expect them to join services with us until July, because they definitely have expressed some concern about the current situation in our market right now with this COVID-19 stuff. So we're going to say they're going to start in July, and they are a $3,000 a month client. Customer C only buys from us randomly. So we're going to say, maybe 2,000 in May, 1,000 in June, 1,000 in June, and nothing the other months. If you sell products, you can do the same thing. If you track more by product and we're going to have X number of dollars in product sales, you can track it this way. So I put in, you can use either customers or products. And then any miscellaneous income, if that's a big thing for your business, you can put that in there. Interest income, I put this in here right now. Probably nobody's making good interest income, but you can add it in if you want to. So now we have what we're expecting in our sales for the next 4 months. Okay, then we're going to go back through the list that we made on the first step, and we're going to look at those monthly expenses that are necessary for keeping our business open. We're going to fill those in. So I broke out, I've got car loans and just loans and debt up top. Then we have our payroll costs. And then I've got kind of miscellaneous business expenses. So let's say we have a car loan and we pay $450 each month on this car loan. So we'll populate that across. Credit card, we only have one credit card, and let's say the credit card, so you can do this one of two ways. Don't double count it. This is more if you have a credit card that you are paying interest on and kind of back debt on. So if you're paying interest or, so maybe I should just say that up here, credit card interest. Because the expenses that hit this credit card should be then included down below on these miscellaneous expenses. So this is going to be credit card interest. So let's say we have one credit card that we pay interest of $225 every month. We don't have a second credit card. And this business example, we don't have a line of credit. If you do have a line of credit, put your amount that you pay every month here. Okay, then we're going to come down here and we're going to look at our payroll costs. So let's say, it costs $8,000 every month to pay my employees. I don't know why that's bolded. And then we've got our payroll taxes. So roughly 10%. So we're going to say $800 every month in payroll tax expense. Okay. We do have group insurance and we pay $2,000 every month. For our health insurance. And we are an LLC, so we take shareholder distributions. And I'm going to leave those blank for right now, and we'll come back to those. Okay, and then we can go through and we can fill in the expenses. So you guys are kind of getting the gist of this, I think, of how this works. So let's say our rent is $2,500 every month. Utilities, we pay, $250 every month in cell phone and water, electric, that kind of stuff. I've got a separate line item for cell phone. So cell phone bill is $100 every month. Insurance costs, this is your workman's comp, your business insurance, any kind of insurance that you have. I don't know, we'll just put in $1,200. And you kind of get the gist of what we're doing. So I'm not going to go in and fill in numbers on all of these, but you can see now here at the bottom, this is how this kind of populates. So after you enter in all of your expenses, you'll see this is going to calculate all of the total expenses that you have every single month. Then this is going to take your ending cash balance. So what it's doing the first month is it's going to add your beginning cash balance plus any deposits you've got coming in, revenues, minus all of your expenses. And this is then going to be how much money you have at the end of each of these months. So you can see we had money on hand, which is good. That helps our business drastically. But as our sales slow down over the next couple months, come July, we don't have that much left at the end of the month in cash. If we go up here and we make any changes, Let's say we started only with $20,000 in the bank account. Come June and July, we are completely out of cash and we need to come up with a plan. So, this is a really great tool to help you see what is going on with the cash in your business and not only for the current month, but look ahead for a couple months. Looking 4 to 6 months is a really great way to do this, and I highly recommend that. So, then this really helps you make those decisions. When you look to see, do we need to make cuts? Do we need to apply for a loan? What do we need to do with our business? So I guess I'll kind of dive into that. And that's kind of how we'll wrap up the call. Um, with this COVID-19, everybody's business is turned upside down. So here are some things that I'm seeing with business owners that, we've gone through this exercise and they are seeing this where they can't make their bills. They can't pay their bills. They're going negative and, either right now or in a couple months if this continues. So you have a couple different choices. And this is where this tool really empowers you of what you can do. So I have one client that all of her customers, for the most part, have shut down. Super scary place to be in. So she essentially is shutting her business down for 3 months because it costs her more every month to keep the doors open, to pay her employees, to run her business when she's not making any income. So she has canceled all of her vendors. She has canceled all of her subcontractors. She has canceled all of her services. The only thing that she is keeping for a couple months while they wait out this storm is one of her kind of key employees that she doesn't want to lose. This lady's worked with her for years and years and years and is amazing. So she's keeping her one key employee, the 2 managers, and that's it. They had to lay off all of the other people that work for her company. She's helped them, get set up with unemployment insurance benefits. But she had to make those hard decisions and it was not fun. She cried when she let these people go because it hurts that much to do this. But she was able then to reduce her expenses down. She's looking at paying, herself, the couple managers, and this one gal that she can't let go, minimum wage. They all agreed to that, to make minimum wage for any, small amount of work that they do for the business over the next couple months. And then once we get through this, she's hoping she can ramp up again and get going. That is how she is minimizing this cash outflow, this cash bleeding. Other businesses are looking at some of these things that are coming in from the government, right? There's a lot of really great government plans out there that are coming through that give cash injections into your business right away. And some of those are meant for situations like this, where it helps you keep your employees on staff for at least a couple months to help you get through this COVID-19 scare while things are shut down. So definitely look at those. We're going to talk about those more in detail on tomorrow's call. So I'm not going to kind of dive into it today, but that's something to look at. Look at these different programs offered by the government. Does it help if you get a government subsidy, sorry, to help cover payroll for 2-3 months? That might be all that you need. Maybe you just need that $10,000 EIDL loan, and that helps break even, cover a couple of these costs. Something else I'm talking to business owners is don't be afraid to reach out to your vendors. We've been working with a lot of our clients that are on, monthly packages, and some have gone to scaling our services way back, and we're just charging hourly for what we're doing just to keep the basics going, but we're not doing extras. Talk to your rent. I've got one of my clients I spoke with this morning. Her landlord agreed to cut her rent by 3/4. So she's only paying a quarter rent every month for the next 3 or 4 months, which is a super big help to her. Talk to any debt that you have. Call your credit card companies, call your car loan companies, see if you can defer these payments for a couple months. These are all great ways to help you, kind of minimize those cash outflows while things are really slow. Other things to look at, and this kind of jumps into what we're going to talk about on Friday, but I want you to be creative. Be creative. Look at the market. The market is changing. There are new opportunities out there. And if you look closely, you will see there are companies that are doing amazingly well during this time. What can you do to turn this nightmare into a good thing? You've got two choices. And I guess this is how I will leave you at the end of the day. You as the business owner have two choices. You can either step back, sit back, and wallow in self pity that, oh, woe is me. Um, you know, this COVID-19 stuff sucks. It has wrecked my business. I'm just going to sit here at home and wallow in self pity, and hopefully it gets through. The reality of that is there's a good chance your business is not going to make it if that's how you act during this time, if that's how you treat this time. I hate to say that, but that's probably true. Or you're going to come out really far behind and it's going to be hard to catch up. Or on the flip side, you can change your mindset. You can completely change your focus and you can step back and you can look. You can use these tools we talked about today to help you manage your business. You can use these tools. I'm going to switch over to the video to see if that kind of helps. So you can use these tools to get really good insights to your business and make really solid decisions about your business. And you can look at what's going on in the world around you. Look at what your customers need. What do your customers desire? What do they need? What are they struggling with? How can you help them? Put together new packages, put together new services, get your business online. There's money to be made. If you look at the amount of money that people have spent over the last 2 months, people have actually spent more than they have in other months when this wasn't going on. They're just changing their spending habits. They're changing their spending behaviors. So put your business out there. Your customers already know, like, and trust you. You're already in the position to help them. Just be creative. Pivot your thinking, pivot your skills, and help you so that you are one step ahead of what's coming. Because I'm telling you right now, the market is changing. People's spending behaviors are going to change. The way people look at the world is going to change by the time we get out of this. And going online is going to be huge. If you can figure out how to get your business online, get your business either advertising, helping clients online, that's really going to help your business. And there's so many other opportunities out there. You just have to be creative. You have to think outside of the box. And thinking outside of the box will help you start generating some new income, create new revenue streams for your business, and set you ahead of the rest of the crowd who is sitting at home in their pajamas waiting for the storm to pass, right? And you might need to scale back. The client that I told you who has scaled everything back in her business has laid off her employees. She is asking me, what can we do to invest in new things? What are your clients doing? Does anybody need an investor? So really great things. She's looking for new opportunities and you should too. So I hope you enjoyed today's presentation. We're going to wrap it up there, let you go. I hope you learned something new. I hope I gave you some tools to really empower yourself in your business and help you make some good, solid, strong decisions regarding the financial side of your business to act as an empowered business owner instead of acting out of fear. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to jump over. I'm going to see if I can figure out how to look at this chat panel real quick to see if there are any questions. I didn't see any questions come through. So I will wait just a second in case anybody has some questions that they want to post. Otherwise, yeah, I will let you guys get back to your day. All right, I don't think any questions are coming through. So thank you again so much for joining us today. If you want help with this on your side of the business, every business is so individual and so unique. So don't hesitate to reach out. We are at trailheadaccounting.com. You can reach out and get signed up. We also post a whole bunch of free resources on our blog. We also have this YouTube channel that we are live on today. So check out our Trailhead Accounting YouTube channel and check us out on Facebook at Trailhead Accounting for free resources for your business. Thanks so much for joining us. I hope you guys have a great day and I hope your business survives this crazy, crazy time. Wishing you all the best. Have a great day. Bye bye.